we've got the 1957 Chevy Bel Air RC car, and it's 1/10 scale in size, officially licensed, and it looks fantastic. So today we're gonna check out this car and the body, we'll take it outside and drive it, and we'll speed test it to see how fast does it go. Here it is, and it's quite the looker. This body is officially licensed through Chevy and comes with an authentic reproduction of how the original 57 Chevy Bel Air would have looked like. Now, admittingly, I don't know a whole lot about this body style, so I had to look it up. At the time in 57, Chevy made quite a few different body styles. This is the coupe, there's also a 4-door, and they also made a wagon. Now, what's interesting is that on the wagon, the side pillars are slanted. On the 4-door, they're upright. And on the 2-door coupe, there are no window pillars. And if you look at this recreated body, this is the coupe, and Kyosho has done the exact same thing on the RC version. Now the rest of the body has a lot going on, and it's a Lexan body that has a lot of hard plastic accessory details that get attached to it. But let's start up front in the grille. This grille is a hard plastic piece that's been attached from the inside with screws, and it's finished in this chrome. Now the grid sticker with those gold lines inside the grille, that's a decal that's been pushed in there. And then there's another Chevy decal on the center of that grille. On each side there's little light lenses with hoods over them. They're also chrome, and there's no proper light buckets behind them to add LEDs, but you probably could on your own if you wanted to do some modifying. Now all the way on each side of our bumper there are little black flat bullet pieces. I believe these actually would have been part of the bumper there to help stick out and protect all this chrome. Now this bumper is pretty snazzy too in the way that it wraps around the sides of the bodies on each side. Now above that bumper and the grille there's a Chevy decal just below the hood, and on each side are our headlights with proper LED light buckets behind those lenses so you can add 5mm LEDs. Now these headlights have a decal going around the lens, and then there's that chrome fitting that gives a little bit of a hood over the lens and just helps finish it off with that trim. Now if you go up the body above that Chevy decal, on the hood are these little chrome bullets. And I'm not quite sure what they are other than being a style or design element. Following those bullets up the hood though, you can see the hood is molded to follow that design, and it looks pretty nice. Below the windshield, there are chrome hard plastic windshield wipers attached from the inside. That windshield has a full wrap windshield just like the real thing, with a decal over it to provide window tint, and then the trim, which is chrome, going around the window. The side of the body includes some more decals to help emphasize some of these details, like the blinkers that sit on the side right behind our headlights. There's this fuel industry decal. There's this entire chrome strip trim that goes all the way down the body. We have hard plastic chrome side mirrors attached from the inside. The side door has a handle, and there's a lock below it. Now the side windows have more decals over them for more tint and more chrome trim. Now you'll also notice that the chrome trim decal that goes along the body is also expanding and opening up in the back, adding some character to these rear fins for our taillights, because those fins are molded into the body and they look really fantastic with the chrome trim going along the very tops. This chrome trim top piece is actually a hard plastic piece that's attached from the inside. For the rest of the rear bumper, it's just like the front, where this is a hard plastic piece in chrome that's been attached from the inside. And then we actually have taillight lenses here where you can attach an LED from the inside. It's a 5mm LED that you would need to use. Now on this rear bumper, there's actually a little latch decal to get into your trunk, and the trunk has another one of those old style Chevy decals along with the California license plate, KYO 1957. Another element to the design and looks of this body are going to be with these wheels, which are chrome wheels with the rubber tire glued to them. These wheels have a little spinner in the center that you would rotate and then pull off. They're slightly keyed in there, but once that comes off, it exposes the screw that secures on the wheel, and you can pop that off with a 2.5mm hex driver. Now behind these wheels, there's red calipers with a chrome disc brake in there, and it does spin as the wheel spins, and that's part of the hex for the wheel, which is a 12mm hex. And that means that pretty much any 1/10 scale touring car or drift style wheel/tire should bolt right up on this car. Now there's actually other optional hexes and discs included with the car that are wider to push out your width to 200 millimeters if you want to use other bodies that have a 200 millimeter width. Now for the chassis underneath this body, it's the Kyosho Fazer Mk2, which has been used for a lot of different on-road Fazer cars with different body styles available. The body styles, Kyosho's just been knocking it out of the park with all these different classics. They're officially licensed and they all come pretty much on the same chassis underneath, with the only difference being some chassis are the FZ02L for long, and some of the other chassis are FZ02 for the short. Something to pay attention to, it's not really a big drastic change. It is if you want to put certain bodies on your car, but overall the extra length just adds in some high-speed stability, where the shorter chassis is better for turning and cornering performance. Nevertheless, this is the long chassis, and it's a four-wheel drive chassis using a plastic shaft that goes down the center to power each of the gearboxes. Each gearbox has a proper differential inside. The suspension is an independent suspension with oil-filled shocks, and the shocks are adjustable. Now there is a big old foam bumper in the front if you hit into things. There's also a little foam pad here in this battery area where you have a single Velcro strap to secure in that battery, and the battery needs to have a T-style connector to be compatible with the ESC. That ESC, by the way, is the Kyosho brushed 60 amp ESC to match this brushed motor, which is the Kyosho G14L single stock motor. How fast is it? We'll find out here soon. Now to power the steering, the car is equipped with the Kyosho KS202W waterproof servo, but it's a bit hard to see as it's covered underneath this plastic shroud. Now directly behind that servo is our receiver, and it's also covered by another plastic shroud, but it's a 3-channel Kyosho receiver that's paired to the KT231P 2.4 GHz transmitter, which is a really nice transmitter included. Alright, so to drive this thing, there's only a few things required. We need a battery, and we're going to use a 2-cell LiPo, and then the transmitter requires 4 AA batteries. Now first things first, how fast is the car? Well, we ripped it back and forth on the street, and our top speed recorded was 24 miles an hour, which is right in line with the other brushed MK2 cars. Now the gearing does feel like it sides more on the delivering torque rather than maximum RPMs, but that can always be adjusted with the pinion gear change. Acceleration is pretty punchy though as a result, and the car has no problem scooting along, but tacks out kind of quick. Now we once put an upgraded brushless 3S system in one of these chassis on 3S, and the car did over 50 miles an hour. So we know the chassis are capable of a whole lot, but you probably wouldn't want to do that to start out with. Now one thing that stood out about the performance was the steering response and how quick the direction changes. Add a little input to the steering and the car will immediately react. There's no pushing, there's no understeer. If anything, it's got oversteer a little, which is great for bashing around or if you want to do donuts or just getting the car to slide, which it will do despite being four-wheel drive. Now for LED lighting with this car, Kyosho offers a few different light sets for headlights and taillights that'll directly bolt into the car, but it's out of stock. So we're gonna use these Yeah Racing LED lights and this MyTrick RC adapter to get it to connect to the receiver. Now this is gonna give us only headlights, but installation is pretty easy. You just back off this clip from the inside where the bucket is. You put that clip on the wires of the LED and then re-secure it onto the bucket. We also just tidied up our wires with some tape under the body, and then you're gonna wanna pop the shroud off of the ESC so you can access the open port for channel 3, and that's where we're gonna plug in our adapter or your light string if you're not using an adapter. And with that, you turn the car on, the lights come on too. Pretty easy to do, and the lights look really good in this body. Now the car already looks great, but the lights, you could say, are a bonus. The 57 Bel Air is a great little car though, with a chassis made for bashing for the RC guy and a reproduction scale body fit for the collector. Guys, go check out the 57 Bel Air from Kyosho with our links down below, and if you want more RC videos, check these out.